What's bad, YouTube? And welcome to a conversation I can't handle very calmly, so forgive me if I baby rage or stumble just a little bit, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed product is failing as a whole on the secondary market, and it's sitting there at distro for the first time in ages where you get those weird deals. They're like, yeah, we'll sell you more of this product, but you gotta take this, it's been sitting on the shelves, please, we want to get rid of it. And you're seeing that effect on the secondary market as well, where sellers are selling even at a huge loss. The flagship itself, the Megatons, the set of the year, 2 years in a row now, has gone downhill. We're looking at duelist packs being dismembered and put into other products. The Earth duelist pack, I don't know, it's on a milk carton. And then what happened to the World Premiere Pack, one of the only sets that's been successful 2 years in a row between Toon Chaos and King's Copium? I am looking through and there's one common denominator, and that is the terrible ratios for the product, making estimated value pulled just simply not worth it, to where those floor vendors that do like 20, 30 cases are bailing on distros once they see how awful it is. They're not continuing the deal and they're just dipping from Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the players look at it, they smell the BS. They start to catch on just a little bit. Like, look through this half print, half print, half print, short print, short print, first non-shorted card printed in a structure deck right around the corner, which I actually agree with that move. Half print, short print, half print. Now, a half print is a short print where it's not an egregiously terrible ratio. It's half as hard to get as other pulls in the set. That's the term we're using here. But you will see these on average about half as much as a regular secret printed in the set, such as Ash Blossom. Also, a Luber, half printed. So when we look through this set, that's the reason people aren't opening it. They've opened it, seeing they're not getting the cards, and they go and buy the singles instead if they're continuing on. This is the first Megaton that was supposed to introduce Master Duel players into the system, and instead they're like, I don't know about that one. That seems pretty terrible. Also, the MSRP up to $22, so I'm guessing vendors are paying somewhere around $12.50 to $13 per 10. Let me know if it's different in the comment section down below. I haven't dug into the distro prices there, but let's look at platform fees and what these vendors are actually getting. So it's $170 per case. That's 12 tens, and we're going to take away 12, 13%. Let's go on the lighter end and take away 12%. And we'll say we're average shipping these around $10 each. Now let's divide those 12 tens. I just like my money back and take a little loss and get out of these so I can get back to other things. That's pretty much what the vendors are doing with the upped MSRP on the tens. They are willing to take a loss currently in order to turn and burn and get back their capital. The 2021 tens are even way worse. While these were $20 MSRP, you can guess that at 12 tens at a market price of $130, people are not happy with how this turned out. Here it was not the ratios, instead it was the greedy plucking of staples into other products and short printing them elsewhere. Lightning Storm, taken out. It was not shorted. Instead, it was in King's Copium, where it was 3.6 per 12 box case at $60 average a box at first, right? Then Forbidden Droplet was short printed again and again. It was short printed in Brothers of Legend. It was short printed over in Legendary Duelist Duels from the Deep. Then we go ahead and we look and see Access Code Talker taken out to try to sell Gold Series. Shorted there as well, if you already guessed it. So these greedy moves of bleeding product and taking cards to short them elsewhere so that they can try to build a higher price on these singles to sell them again and again in future products has come to a culmination to where product is currently failing on this model because they're doing it worse than ever before. And there's very simple, easy fixes to this. I would not do a rant video without offering my opinion on fixes. And the one we can really easily go back to is promos, the word that I almost forgot because it's been so long. Look at this. Game-changing and shifting promos, which you can't do every time, but you could still do pretty good ones. Nibiru, Dark Ruler no more, even D-Shifter became good. And these were RNG promos, something they experimented with, had a home run success, and decided to never do again. Along with great collectible promos and historied cards added into these tins. It's amazing, and they just decided to drop that and not try it ever again. Simple fix. I know this is hard to think of, Konami, but remember a past where Max C, Pot of Duality. Those were promos? Promos? And you could have done that with Prosp and still half printed all these cards, and the community would have been cheering you on. It's that simple. Throw a dog a bone and give a guaranteed value to a product of a wanted card, and people will be cheering it on and going after it in droves. But they can't seem to get a hang on that or handle on that, and they want to rig the system completely to where they can try to sell these cards once again, time and time again. Now let's talk about the all-foil side sets going away and look at how those collector rare sets have been doing. It's pretty darn awful. If you haven't guessed, boxes usually sell for $60, so if you're taking platform fees and shipping these out, well, $48, $50 boxes are not that great, and that's actually an improvement for where Genesis Impact has been in the past. But the collector rare choices were pretty bad in here, but it had a meta deck. And then it also had a rogue fan favorite with some waifu-ness to it in the Evil Twins. And this should have by all means been pretty darn good, except now everything is short because the ratios are harder to get used to. When we talked an all-foil side set, there would be 3 cards that were short printed, and they would be averaging around 3 per case. Now it is 10 different cards, all the ultra rares, which you only see around 3 pulled per box in Genesis Impact. So with 10, it's 10 total different ultra rares. I don't want to misspeak. 10 different ultra rares. And you're only seeing 3 per box. That means you average 3.6 of each ultra rare per case, where before you would see on average those short prints around 3 per case anyways. Now, every single card that could potentially be there is short, but that also means the vendors have less rogue decks to sell. The rogue decks are less accessible. There's less options for all the players, and it's really hurting the product versus, look at this. These are all rogue at best. Fan favorite at best. The Earth Machine, it topped some regionals. It did okay. The Witchcrafters did something in Duel Links, and you look through the set and you're wondering, how is this a $90 box? It doesn't deserve to be. Evil Eye also, you tried. When we look at this though, it's this kind of thing where almost any side set would be successful because you would see cool cards in super rare. Every card was hollow instead of trying to chase after a collector rare that was 1 in 3 different boxes. Like, the ratios have been awful, and don't get me started over here on the dual spec. You can just see a $30 box, like under a $30 box that has a ghost rare in it. They brought back ghost rares, and that quality control has just been awful. But then short printing Droplet as the last-ditch effort to try to save this after plucking it from the Megatins. I don't understand why they even went ahead with this over a world premiere pack this year, but it's very clear somebody at Konami thinks that making cards less accessible is the option, when it's very clear if you give more total copies, the demand for those copies can actually rise because they're more affordable, thus actually doing the lifting of more copies, but more demand will outpace less copies and less demand, but even higher prices, because people are like, well, I still need to get something back out of my product at the end of the day. That's the simple answer. Better cards, having a slightly better pull rate would be better for everybody, and these home run products that should have been are instead laying there at distro not selling. Thanks for watching today's video. I know it's a bit of a rant, but it's been weighing on my mind. It's really hard to suggest sealed when I see the flagship flop twice that should have been an obvious home run. We cheered the announcements, and instead, curveball, we change the rules in the Megatins every year. This time it's short prints. I have a loss of words at this point for what's happening with it, and I really hope to see a directional change in 2023 and them re-look up what made their products such bangers and home runs that they've strayed so far from. But, that's just me here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everybody.